Welcome to Bookie's Place. Listen, today is going to be interesting. You know, at Bookie's Place, we don't talk about the awards, we don't talk about the fame, we don't talk about the accolades. We talk about the grit, the grind, the necessary tools that you need to be equipped with in this season and for life. For destiny, the questions that plague you. Who am I? Why am I here? Why do I do the things I do? How do I figure this thing out? We bring people that you love, people that have been there, that are on the same journey as you. They share their stories. And today I have a very, very special guest, and he's already in the building. It's finna be lit. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's give Id Cabasa. Id Cabasa is in short. Wait, hold up. Let's give Id a Bookie's Place welcome. Id Cabasa! Id Cabasa!
Bouquie.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Are you?
I am well, thank you. I am very well, thank you.
Obviously, showing. You are looking radiant.
It's the lights, you know now we put the lights.
You are looking radiant. This is
How
not
are
light.
you? How is the lockdown treating you and everything?
Ah, well, the lockdown has its blessings, and obviously, a lot of us are tired staying home. A lot of people, rather, don't let me say a lot of us, because for me, it's a sort of blessing because I have more concentration, more time to actually focus on some stuff that I'm supposed to have been doing. So
Okay.
for me, it's both ways. It depends on how you see it, but for me, it's been great. Yeah.
Id Cabasa!
Stop this now. Okay.
You don't
Oh,
understand now. You don't understand now. Listen. I'm excited because you're not just a friend, right? You're not just
yeah.
you're not just a music legend. You're not just someone who has an eye for talent. You are
Yeah.
someone that's actually been there with me on my journey. I remember
Sure.
you just called me out of
Yeah.
the blue. Kabasa, you said I have a song for you.
I remember.
Kabasa,
Yeah. I
you
remember.
did the hook. The hook was
Yeah.
already done. You just said, come and lay your verses. And I
Yeah.
remember I was in the studio that day and I started writing the rap, and it remains one of my best songs, you know? And who
Ah.
does that? I mean,
Ofola ye jamo.
yeah,
I will never forget that name.
yeah,
Yeah.
vanity, you know?
Kila
Thank you
umulo.
so much. I
Yeah.
mean,
And
your heart, huh?
I still remember the a lot of stuff that are in the verse in terms of the rap. I remember,
Yeah,
yeah, you were taken from scriptures,
yes,
Ecclesiastes, I think it was
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes 9, yeah.
Yes,
And that
yes.
for me, that particular song actually formed a lot of, should I say, perspective and opinion for me personally, because it actually helped a whole lot. And I could remember then in the studio, a lot of us were talking about the song. We didn't even know that the song was going to be big that time. And I noticed that people were showing the song so much love. People wanted to listen to the song because it's not the normal noise that
Yes,
you get to hear
yes, yes,
nowadays. Then it's
yes.
more about the substance, the essence that the song is
Mhm.
actually giving. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
God.
for being part of my journey. But guess what? Today is not about me. Today is about you. Because I look around me and I know we've had this conversation. I look
Yeah.
around me and I see so many people faceless now. They've lost their identities. They've worked in a bank for so long. They've worked as a teacher. And now this thing has
Mm,
made everybody just stay at home. Their identities are taken
mm,
from them. They're shut down, just faceless.
oh,
So
yeah.
they're looking. Where do I begin? I've been a banker all my life. I thought I was going to be a banker till the end of my life. What am I going
Mm,
to do? So now they have to reset and revamp, reevaluate where they are and start again. So we bring people on this show not to talk about the awards or the
yeah.
accolades. We're not interested in all that. We
Yeah.
want what made you you. We want
Mhm.
the grind. We want your story.
What
So
really
this is
made
how it
you?
goes. You just tell your story. Just tell your story, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, yeah. I actually love the parts when you said a lot of people are sort of stopped now. I still hear people talk about what is post-COVID going to be like, and I'm like, we're already in post-COVID.
Mm,
We're already living the reality of post-COVID. Things will not
mhm.
go back to they used to be. So I think I should start from there. For me, and when you said people that have been bankers and they've been whatever they've been all the while, someone asked me a question not quite long, and that question actually took me back to a question that I asked myself
Mm-hmm.
probably like from 12 years ago. And that question is the hardest question I've answered all my life. And if I ask the same question here now, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, it's the simplest question now. I can answer it, but we can't answer it adequately. And the question I asked myself then was, who am I? As simple as who am I sounds, or they ask, who are you? The first thing that comes to our mind is to answer them, to tell them our names. But we all know that our names does not really represent who we are. Our names are just the label we bear.
Yeah.
You understand? It's just a label to recognize the person.
Mm-hmm.
If I am the name that I bear, that means everybody that bears the same name should behave the same way, should end
The
up the
same
same way,
identity.
or should
Yeah.
do the same. So, I could remember that year I asked myself who I am, and it was very, very, very hard to answer because I realized that there are so many things that I wanted to be. There are so many things that I've become. You understand? And there were so many expectations that people wanted me to become. And I realized that I've actually become so many things except myself,
Mm.
which was really, really, really funny. I have become everything people wanted me to become. I have become other people. I have become, okay, that year I was already a graduate. I was already working. And I realized that all of these things, you understand, that I was doing, they're actually stuff that were out of, you have to become this, you have to become that, you have to be this, you have to be that. It took
Expectations.
time. Yeah, it took time for me to really find out, okay, let me know who in fact, to really know who I am as at that time. I realized that I can't tell myself that I am just one thing, which is
Mm.
something that over the years I've tried to make people understand. And I was able to find myself in
Mm.
checking what God says I am. Because if I say I should check myself from the way what I think about myself, obviously what I think about myself is what has brought me to where I am now. I've maybe
Mm-hmm.
become what became then. So I needed something that would take me higher. So I needed to look inwardly. I needed to look at, and to know what a thing is, you might need to ask the manufacturer. So for me, I was able to stay a lot with the Holy Spirit then, and I'm being particular about the Holy Spirit then to tell me what and what I was. And I realized that I am way much more than what I thought I was then.
Mm.
Because I've become so many things. I became a music producer. I became a graduate. I was studying for my master's. I became a whole lot of things. But until that period that, and look, I'm sorry to you say this on this particular platform, that when I saw the part of you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, that is to say I can be everything. We were brought up to believe that Jack of all trades, master of none. But I realized that that was a man thinking that I can actually be Jack of all trades and master of all.
Mm.
Sincerely, I started finding myself. I started finding the fact that, look, these and these are the things that you could actually become. These and these are the things that you could actually do. I found out a whole lot of things that, in fact, most of the stuff that I found out, Bouquet, were things that I don't like about myself. They were
Mm.
things that I don't want people to say about me. And I found out that in those things lies the real strength, the real man that I was. In fact, it was that period that I discovered that men are not the things they say or the things they showcase to you. We are more of the things we hide. If you check it, all of us, we are more of the things we hide. And I was delivered more when I read the book about the shadow effect, and I realized that most of the things that I think probably then that I thought, okay, these things were more like weakness for me, that they could actually be a strength. Because before then, I don't like talking. Me way back, that I'll just be quiet. I'll keep quiet. I won't say what. I might not agree with whatever you people are saying. I might have an opinion about it, but I don't just want to talk because I don't want wala from anybody. And I just keep to myself. But I realized that I actually had strength in that thing that I don't want to do. There are a lot of things that people will be saying that I know from this and this, these things could be wrong. Because I didn't want to be labeled as one thing. So I was hiding, but at the end of the day, I found myself, and I have been very unapologetic since living my life and being who I want God, who God has created me to be. So it was the hardest question to answer, but when I've not answered it finish, oh, I'm still answering it because I'm still becoming.
Yeah, it's a
So
journey.
it's a journey, just becoming that thing. And I noticed that a whole lot of things just keep unfolding about me, and I realized that I'm just a version of the I am. So anything you see, that I am.
Yes, yes. Wow. Wow. That's I need to get something to be drinking on this show because you guys just make me wait. Wow. Listen, that journey of becoming is
Yeah,
you don't finish it till you drop
yeah.
dead.
So you drop dead. Yeah.
Nobody says, I have arrived. Now, you know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, the person that did that in the Bible, God said, you're so stupid. He said, the rich fool, oh, my soul, eat.
Yeah.
And God was like, eh? I am,
Eh.
and all that.
Yeah.
Right? But I want you to start from the beginning of your life. We want to hear about ID, where he was born, where he grew up, and all the struggles
Yeah.
that made you.
Okay. When we spoke about this and you said I'm going to come on this, and I love the part that you are coming from. I think I should even share more of that. That is, if a lot of people see, what is it called? They see the glamour. They see us smile, they see the glamour, they see too many, many, many things. But the real thing that actually made us, they don't get to see them, which are
Mm.
the pain. Bookie, nobody becomes great that has avoided pain.
Pain, pain.
Sincerely, pain. For me, if I think back, I told you that I'm going to share a particular story so that I think people should learn from, because this is more of a very, uh, should I say, vulnerable platform that I think I should share this. If I share the pain that I felt growing up, coming from, let me say, an average family, we didn't have too much money. My parents were not that buoyant to actually afford some things that some other kids could afford. I will still be telling you the normal Nigerian story of, growing up around
Yeah.
Africa, all of those things. But the one that is so funny was the one that actually did stuff that happened to me after I became Id Cabasa.
Mm.
Sincerely, Bookie, I've told people that look, I've known how to be rich, I've known how to be poor. I've like poor, I've abounded in all situations. So it has helped me to form that real opinion about things that are valuable. I remember there was a time after I was married, though, and I'm saying,
Wow.
yes, as Id Cabasa, that people have celebrated after Gongo so and all of that. And I was about to start pushing a major artist in Nigeria. I became so broke that a lot of times I get to my studio, to eat was a problem. It got so bad that I was told to move out from the house I was living in.
Wow.
I moved out of that house. I stayed in my studio with my two kids and wife, Ebuki, for
Wow.
good 2 months. And that period is the studio that I work. And I moved everything that I had then. I moved everything to that studio. It was painful. Sometimes I just wake up in the middle of the night. I will just start crying because these people don't deserve this life that I'm giving to them. I'm supposed to be Id Cabasa. I'm supposed to have all of these things. Then what is really happening to me? I'm the celebrated producer. I'm the guy that everybody sees on. Even at that period, when I go outside my studio, people will still see me and still be ailing and still be shouting. Like I have some billions in my account, and I will wake up in the middle of the night. I will just be crying because it was really, really painful for me that
Mm.
I haven't done all of the stuff that I've done. How could I get to this particular point? Now, that particular 2 months, I won't say it stopped after that 2 months. There a lot of time. So but the 2 months were really defining for me because I nearly went into depression. A lot of people did not understand. I know of a guy in church one day that came to me that was asking me to give him tea fare home, which was normal. Don't worry, lights will come back. That was
Oh, is
asking
that
me to give
NEPA? NEPA.
non-NEPA. No, they changed my power source, so it's normal.
Okay.
Like for 2 seconds, it will come and go.
Okay.
Now, I remember a guy asking me to give him transport fare to go home from church. And, I didn't have money on me. But the guy did not believe that I didn't have. That even that I was actually staying in my studio. All of them will see me. I was smiling. Things were looking rosy. And they thought, yeah, this guy is just fine. And would you believe it, Bouquet? Even during that period, I was still helping people. I was looking for house rent. Oh. Yet I know then I actually gave monies to like 2 people for their kids' school fees. I think one was like 6,000, the other one was like 5,000, like 11K then. And I was looking for money to pay my rent. So this guy came to me, he asked me for T-shirt, and I told him that look, that I will help you look for money from some other folks in church. And I started going round. That day, I could not get money for the guy. And, I was so shocked the next day on Facebook. The guy now wrote an epistle about me that I'm a very bad person, that with all the money that I have, that people will see me. I cried. So what I told God that day, I think what I told God that day was what started changing a whole lot of things for me. Because I told God, I said, I need you to. I was so angry, and I think people should learn from this that there are times that you will do some things out of indiscretion that you might unknowingly
Regret.
be asking to destroy yourself. Because I remember that I went back home, I prayed that God should give that guy a full details of what I'm going through. And what I meant by telling God to give him the full details was he should go through what I was going through. That was bad.
First hand.
I'm telling you, understand, but I felt so bad that day. So later, 2 days after, I was just going through scriptures, and God said, I saw in Job that immediately Job finished praying for his friend, that God restored him and all of that. So I just picked that guy as a particular point of contact. That, okay, since you said I should pray for this guy, I prayed for him. After praying for him, that stuff was still at the back of my mind. So I had to call the guy up, and I opened up what I was going through to him. That this is you, that you come to me every Sunday and I give you nothing less than 2K. You now came to me once and I didn't have, and I told you I don't have. I actually brought him to the studio. I showed all of my luggage and everything. That, do you know that this is where myself and my family have been staying for a while? He felt bad. He said he was sorry. Then he left. Then all of a sudden, God just started. But I learned so much. Like I said, my pain was actually the real springboard for
Your
me to be
pain
well
was
established.
expressed.
Yeah, a lot of things were learned during that time. A lot. It was like my own lockdown. I had a whole lot of resets. I had a whole lot of resets. I was hell bent on not learning and on not staying down. You understand? At that point because at that time I was thinking that, man, I have failed, that I'm a failure. With everything that I know, with everything that I've learned, with all the depths that I had, at a point I was feeling I'm a failure. But thank God for things that I've learned in time past and all of that. So I was able to pick up. How did I pick up? It was just to decide within myself that, look, what people fell in love with was what I normally do. I don't have to lose myself because I am losing. And I had to ask myself some very crucial questions like, why are you even in this position? Is it that you have lost all sense of value? Because, a lot of us, when we either lose our job or we lose some businesses, we think that is the end. No, it's a business that you have lost. You have not lost your value.
But
If
doesn't
that
that
particular
but doesn't
person,
that affect but doesn't that affect your own sense of, sense of affirmation that a door is shut against you or someone says no? It makes you your
Bookie,
worthiness in your own eyes, in your
it
own
will be a
eyes.
lie. It will be a lie if I tell you that it doesn't affect us. It does a whole lot. You know, many times I've heard people like, you pick up your pen, you blah, blah, blah. I just laugh. I'm like, look, if only you've been through some things, then you will understand that at that position, to an hungry soul, everything bitter is sweet.
Sweet.
One, I'm telling you, at that time, if you are, look, I just imagine if you are fasting, if they are burning tire, you'll be smelling jollof rice. So that was just at Bookie. I was doing, as in, I was doing stuff. Thank God for the upbringing that I had, because growing up too, you understand, I passed through some, like when I was in SS3. I remember when I was in SS3, my dad actually was retrenched. He was retrenched. Later, the government converted it to retirement. That things were really, 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 really hard for us. You understand what I'm saying? That I had to, at some point, follow my dad to a Lupeju to go and pack gutter. This was a man that was almost, I think it was a senior government official that was making good money. All of a sudden, things just stopped, and I had to go to, and I was a butter boy. Let me use that word. All of a sudden, from being a butter boy to become Paco from nowhere, and I had to go and be packing gutter. So I had to look back at those times. That okay, what were the things that I threw away to be able to do those things? I learned how not to despise the days of little beginning. You know, when we talk about days of little beginning, we are not talking about just the days that we were poor or we didn't have anything, but we are even talking more about the lessons that we learned when we started off. So that
Journey.
was how I made some decisions around that period. I said, okay, what were the things that made Id Cabasa Id Cabasa? Let's start all over again. Then I started all over again. I started all over again. I started producing. I will call people up. You have a song. Okay, bring the song. You don't really have too much money. How much do you have? Let me do this song for you. Then from there. And you know, I think God actually saw the sincerity of my heart and saw the part that I had to actually bring myself down beyond low the bar to start all over. And I think those are the things that God actually looked at. And in no time, a lot of things that I lost started coming back. A lot of things that I lost. I learned so much during that period. One of the greatest lessons I learned during that time, I think I was sharing it with you the other day. And if there are artists on this timeline, I'm about to write a book, which I was going to title Before You Blow. There are a lot of things in that book that I intend to share some of my experience. Let me share one of the experience in it. We need to understand that when you blow not because of it's not because of you, not because of who you are, but you actually blew because of what you did. You understand? We blow because of, okay, like for Id Cabasa blew because people like the kind of music Id Cabasa was doing, not because they like the person Id Cabasa.
We like you though.
Yeah, because you were close to me. You understand what I'm saying? For those that were close to me, they like the person Id Cabasa. But for the random person on the street, yeah, every artist that has blown, that is why they all share the same kind of fans. Remember, fans are just there to blow you, even in your
Yes.
house. When you switch on the fan, it's there to blow you. You
I
understand?
know.
You understand?
Exactly.
So it's there to blow you. But you know, I realized that for you to actually stay relevant for a long time,
Core.
yeah,
Core.
you need the core, which I will call disciples. And
Yeah.
those ones, they should not just fall in love with what you do, they should fall in love with your person.
Who you
And
are.
for them to discover your person, they might need to find a lot of truth in what you do. Imagine if what you do is probably you sing and they don't really have something that they can hold on to in all your songs, that is just the group that they like about it. It will end at the point of they blow
Oh,
you,
yeah.
they just like you. But it will get deeper when they can hold on to something. Fela died
Yeah,
long
the
time ago, but
cause.
because you understand, there had been loads of truth in what Fela was saying. That is why till date, even children that were not born in Fela era, they talk about Fela and all of that. Fela is forming disciples. A lot of
Mm.
news, a lot of guys now, they are still sampling what Fela did. You can't say Fela is old school because what makes a man old school, I think, is not his age or how old he
It's
or she
really
is, but
good.
it's more about the relevance of the idea. So Fela's idea is still relevant to date. So, I learned a whole lot during that period that okay, all I need to do here is to make sure that for those that want to fall in love with what I do, I service them. For the people, for the core people, in fact, it helped me to look inward too, into family. You understand
Mm.
what I'm saying? That there are people that I know, these ones, they love me for who I am. I had to start paying more attention to them and all of that. I think this should help a whole lot of artists that are yet to blow, that are planning to blow, that once you get to that point, you need to understand that people, in fact, that should even help you not to be sounding too arrogant online. When you know
Mm.
that it is what you do that they love, not really you, you will calm down. You understand? Like the Palm Sunday donkey that was carrying Jesus. Just imagine that the
Jesus.
guy gets too happy. He just starts
Imagine if
jumping.
you
It's going
just
to,
like me or whatever the
you
donkeys,
understand? And you know that story. My son recently, they were asking them in church that they should name their two favorite Bible characters. They now said the two donkeys in the Bible. Initially people were laughing, and he said the first one was because God could use anything. Then the second one, he mentioned the one that carried Jesus, and I realized that the second one that carried Jesus, a horse would have been more honorable. But I know that horses, when they see so much flamboyance, they get
proud. They
too
start to
excited.
show themselves.
So I realized that actually taught me that God does not really use arrogant people. He doesn't
It
use you
doesn't
when
even
you
at
feel
all.
too,
Mm.
yeah, when you feel too much of yourself and all of that. So I would rather prefer to just be that donkey, because that donkey was actually the one that was matching the palm front, that was matching all the clothes that was on the ground. So I would rather be the one that is enjoying all of those, while the one that is really pushing me is taking the ride and all of that. So I learned so much around that period.
Wow.
And Buki, those lessons formed what I eventually became. That after many years, over 20 years in the industry, there's still so much relevance. There was a time that I left, you understand, to do some other stuff. And I came back and I was still relevant. Obviously, you will know that this is not it cannot be me.
It's not candy
You
floss.
understand?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, you understand. So definitely there is something stronger behind the so it's for me to submit to that particular thing, and that thing is the Holy Spirit. So I
Mm.
just humble myself to stay there. So my
Wow.
pain has been my springboard though. I learned
Mm.
so much
Wow.
around that time. A
Wow.
lot.
So, wow, this is inspiring. Speak to someone right now that is down, someone that has lost his job, probably lost his family to COVID or whatever, that is just trying to really struggle through this season. Just say something from a place of empathy and, of course, sympathy, just say something to them, you know?
Buki, if when we get into places like this, like for some people that have lost people and all of that, I think the way people console us most times can be a bit harsh when they tell you to get over it, get over it. Along the line, I lost my mom and I know how it felt. For everybody that comes to me to tell me to get over it, I get mad at them. That don't you guys understand? Over 40 years relationship gone just like that. And you are telling me to just get over it. So I can't really tell you to get over it. But one thing I just need you to pick from it is you are feeling pain because you are alive.
Mm.
It's only a living person that can feel pain. If you have not lost a family or not lost anyone, but it's probably because you have lost your job or any other thing. Look, you are feeling pain because you are alive. Gratitude, will-
Gratitude.
yeah, can definitely wipe those pains. But I won't
Wow.
tell you that. See, one of my favorite song of all time, Bouquet, when I want to worship is this Don Juan song. Lord, you seem so far away. A million miles or more it feels today. Though I haven't lost my faith, I must confess right now that it's hard for me to pray. But I don't know what to say, and I don't know where to start. But as you give the grace, with all that's in my heart, I will sing. That song is one. In fact, once I get into all of those modes, that is the song I pick. And you know why I do that? Because in all situations, there is still an iota of things to be grateful for.
Yes.
If you've lost everything, know that you've not lost your life. If you have lost people and all of that, it is fine to cry. It is fine, even
Go through
to
the
know.
emotions.
Yeah, but don't stay in those grief. Don't stay there. You need to find something to be grateful to God about.
Mm.
Once you find that thing to be grateful to God about, I'm sure you start to get out of it. And if you are out there, probably you've lost your job, which is the reality of so many people now, or the job that you are doing because
Mm.
of the new wave now is going to stop. You are going to be affected. Let me tell you, what is it called? A sad Yoruba will say any sunkun liran. They say he that is the person that is
It's
crying
crying,
today.
you can still see. Yeah.
You might need to get to that point to realize that yes, it is only for now that they are saying something has stopped about the work. But if you look deeper, you will notice that something better has actually started for you. This
Be
particular period,
focused.
okay, yes, this particular period, winners will see a bend where losers see a end. You understand? A winner will always look for the bend. The loser will see the end because this is the end and we'll go. But you you can't be a loser. So my advice and my plea would be if you can submit it to the Holy Spirit, let the Holy Spirit be the one that is going to carry the pressure. You might need to be very, very grateful to God. It is in gratitude that I think a whole lot of us can get out of pain. I lost a couple of businesses too. I was supposed to come down to the United States. You remember we were talking,
Mhm,
and I
mhm,
said I
mhm.
was coming. I was meant to come and do some business, which I was supposed to make some monies from, to do some other stuff. But all of those things stopped. But sincerely, I was angry the first week. But Buki, probably because it has become more like an habit for me to always get into that song. Once I get into that song, I start to look out for what God has done.
What
Yoruba
can you
people will
can
say,
be grateful?
you understand, just be grateful for. Yoruba people will say, Teruba mokwe, Teruba moru, tenu eru, ba mo inuro, amokwe. That is if the slave
Slave
knows how to
knows how
think.
to think. You'll know how to be
Yeah,
grateful.
that is if you can think, you can always thank. You will know. See, if you can think deeper, eh, you will see something to be grateful for. And the second part is see your joy. God has a provision for joy, but it is our responsibility to key into it. You remember that psalm that we normally read that I will enter his gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter his
Mhm.
courts with praise. I
Courts
will
with prayer
say, this is the day
that
the
the
Lord
Lord
has
has
made.
done.
So it is
I will
not the Lord, it is I that will rejoice and be glad in it. It is I, it is my responsibility to find joy and be glad in it. It is no longer God's responsibility to find joy. That joy, there's always a provision for it. God has provided the joy for us. So I have a responsibility. So the responsibility I want us to take for every other person that is going through pain now is take the responsibility. You understand what I'm saying? To get into that place of the Lord has made a day that is good.
Mm.
Despite all of this, there is still something good about the day. So let me take up the responsibility to be glad in it. And I'm sure you will start to see many miracles that are about the day, that are even about the losses that you've incurred.
Well, you're so right because one time I was really like, just going through the motion and I was like, there's nothing to be grateful for. There's nothing to be grateful for. Like when I was trying to use that, like, there's nothing to be grateful for. This one, I lost that. I was focusing. Obviously, perspective has a major role to play, right? So I was
Yeah.
focusing on a different thing. And all of a sudden, I developed a toothache. And then it lasted a couple of days and it disappeared. I woke up I think fourth day. I was thank God for my teeth. Oh, I was like, I never woke up ever to say, God, I thank you for my teeth. I thank you for my thumb. I thank you because we just think they should be normal until something shows you that
Yeah.
no, you should be grateful for that. So you're really right. You're right about that.
Gratitude, I believe gratitude can bring us to a place of joy. It's like, you see, when we murmur and complain, it's like Pastor Yemi David will say, it's like having a fly. You understand? You know all this. You don't live in Nigeria, I guess, so you might have forgotten. The way mosquito will
Trust
come
me,
to you,
I remember.
you understand? The way mosquito will come and be doing, you know what you do?
Mm,
That is how our murmuring and complaining, that is how it sounds to God. You understand? Just murmur and blah, blah, blah. You just do like this. But then there's one scripture, Bouquet. You remember when David, was it in Ziklag that David went to war,
when
came
they
back, he was,
and they
yeah,
are taking out his family,
he
yeah.
was taken. You remember what he did? He cried.
Right.
And when he was tired crying,
It
when
was
the
like,
people decided to
oh yeah.
he now did, you understand, he now did the right thing. That is the way pain actually works. See, pain, no, fear, all of those things. For me, I won't say they are good or bad. What will make them good or bad is our response. David responded by praying. Same thing with fear. I don't know who I was discussing with recently, and I told the person that look, fear is not a negative energy, and I might actually break a lot of bubble here. That I don't believe in totality that fear is false enemy appearing real. A lot of fear are real. A lot of fear are real. It is not fear that is bad. Most times it
It's
is
your
our response to
reaction.
fear. You understand? A lot of times, if you are responding from the place of faith, which I don't also agree that fear is the opposite of faith.
Oh
The
yeah.
opposite of faith for me is doubt, not fear. If
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
responding from the place of faith, you find joy, you find solution. But if you are responding from the place of doubt, that is when you stay in perpetual fear. That is the one that I think actually gets
You
people.
know,
So
it's so interesting that you're saying all these things because I just thought about it that all these things are nebulous. They're all nebulous. It's like money. Money
yeah,
doesn't have, oh, it's good money, it's bad money. It
it's not
depends
it's
on
bad
who's
money. No.
handling it. So events are
Yes.
nebulous. Yes, events are nebulous. Like it doesn't have positive or negative because I could be in
Negative.
abundance, I could be in a lot of abundance, and my perspective is still wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm conditioned
Yes,
to
Buki,
hate
you are
the
right.
things around me, to be ungrateful and all that stuff. And so I might be
Yeah,
in plenty and still not appreciate it. And I
yeah.
might be in lack and still be grateful because my
Mm-hmm.
perspective, I have chosen. That's where choice, the power of choice comes in. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
chosen to see it like this.
You know,
And
when you
that's the
said
power we
perspective,
have.
when you said perspective, I think perspective is a whole lot, Buki. And that I so much agree with what you just said now. Look, I get to discuss this concept of truth with a whole lot of people. And I tell
Mm,
them that if you understand the concept of truth, then you will know that you can't reduce meaning to good and bad. You
yeah,
can't reduce the meaning of a thing to good or bad. Because when you know the meaning of a thing, you will know it for what it is, which is the
the
truth.
purpose.
You understand?
Yes.
So you won't say it's neither good nor bad. Like you rightly mentioned now, money. Money is neither good nor bad. It's all boils down on
It
how
takes on
you are
the
using it.
character of the person holding
You
it.
understand? And if you keep defining God as good and the devil as bad, when the devil does something good, you will say it's God. You understand what I'm saying?
Never time to do anything good.
You understand? They will tell you,
you can
but you know,
choose you can choose to see how what he has brought to you,
he's
can be
smart,
channeled,
Buki.
yeah.
The devil is smart. He knows scriptures. Just look at Adam and Eve. Did he lie to them?
He just
No.
twisted their mind. That's the law of engagement.
You know, there is a way I can present the truth to you that I will create
Doubt
a
in your
new
mind.
perspective. You understand? So if we keep looking at facts, if we keep looking at good and all of those things, we might not understand the fullness of God, which is one of the reasons why we have issues with religion and all of those stuff today. You know, I remember there was a time, I don't know, probably you were part of us that, okay, I think you were the one that did the song with Cobams then, that about,
Which
I'm
one?
not, was it, I'm not afraid or I'm not ashamed of the gospel or gospel
Yeah,
or his
yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah,
It was your
yeah,
song, right? You remember
yeah.
that song? We were proud to sing that song then. You understand? But nowadays, Bouquet, it's very hard. Do you know why? Because
Wow.
we understood the gospel then for what it was. It was about love. But nowadays, when you see a whole lot of errors that is out there, you might need to define to people that, look, I am talking about the gospel of Jesus, not the
Mm,
gospel that a particular pastor taught me or not.
mm,
Thank God
mm,
for people, thank God for great pastors that we still have in Nigeria. Very few of them that are serving us well. You
mm.
understand? There are a lot of error out there that, you know, when they talk and you, like what you do now, you might start to check yourself that am I still a Christian? Am I still this? Am I still that? You know, when they bring to your table a whole lot of error, you remember what you two faced. You remember what you faced coming to be a rapper, that they will say, what does rappers to do in church and all of that. You understand? Those things are still happening around.
Wow.
But they are like in Ecclesiastes 9, they've just been rebranded, they've been remodeled in other forms. They still happen now. So I'm still
Mm,
proud of the gospel of Jesus. But you know, if only we understood when Jesus said is the way, the truth, especially
mm.
when Jesus said, I am the truth, if only we took out time to understand that it was on that truth that he built his church.
Did you just cough?
Don't worry, I'm safe.
Where's my mask?
Let me give you something. Let me
Where's my
give you this.
sanitizer? Give me
Take, take,
sanitizer.
take, take, take sanitizer. It's so hard. It's so hard to cough outside now. Today, I was somewhere and I felt like coughing. I was out looking at everybody. I just took out a little bit of time, pretended as if I was answering a call. I just slid into the restroom, just coughed gently, came out, and after drinking water, I was out looking at everybody like, but we are preserved.
Yes,
So, you know, like we're
amen.
saying about truth, a lot of things are true, but
Mm-hmm.
being true doesn't mean it's the truth. You understand? Things that are true doesn't necessarily mean that it's the truth, because what the truth is, the truth is what it is. What is true can be my perception of it, which was why
Yeah,
I love when you
my
speak about
reality.
perception.
Yeah. Mm.
You know, scriptures helped us in First Corinthians, I think, too, where he said, "We see." Oh no, First Corinthians, I think, is in 13, where he said, "We see in part and we prophesy in part."
We know
That
in
is to
part.
say, whatever part of the truth that I see is just a part of it. If
Mm.
I know this scripture and I keep it at the back of my mind, it should humble me to know that whatever the other people see too could also be a part of it. So it should
Yeah,
humble
Jesus
me
said
to know that,
sanitizer.
okay, sanitizer, who wants sanitizer? You understand? So it is that part that I see that I will always want to say, okay, that is what it is and all of that. So
Mhm. So, how do I now live if I'm not a Christian? Because we have people that are not Christians watching, right? And this is, how do they get equipped to do destiny? Because you've mentioned some key things now. Purpose, purpose of a
yes,
thing
sir.
is what gives it direction, right? The
Yeah.
purpose, you have to learn from your pain. At some point, you learn from your pain. Your pain was a springboard. So,
Mhm.
how do I get up if I don't have a particular faith, or I'm just a human being? What do I do?
Now, Buki, like you rightly said, you asked me the question that for those that are not Christians, I want to ask you this question, but was Jesus Christ a Christian?
He was the role model for us. That's why
Was
we
Jesus Christ a Christian?
know.
Was Jesus Christ? No. But Jesus Christ was the role model for Christianity. Buki, Jesus did not say Christianity is the way. I'm going
He said,
somewhere,
I
and
am the way.
I will tell you where Christianity comes in. Jesus said, I am the way.
Thank
I am. Now, who is the I am? Jesus Christ,
God.
Abi.
Yeah,
So
God, Jesus.
there was a time that somebody asked, when he asked this question, that who do people say I am? I want us to answer that question of when Jesus said that I am. So first understand who that I am is. He said, who do people say I am? Everybody was talking from their perspective of who he was.
They thought it was,
He
yeah.
has healed them, so you are the healer. He has taught them, you are the teacher. He has done this, you are this. But the one that said you are the Son of God, which if you look deeper, Bouquet does not really have anything to do with the experience of who he is, but that is actually his true nature. My question then was, I now looked back to the part of, if you say you are the Son of God, who is God? God told, what is it called? Moses, that I am. Anything you say, anything you feel, anything that comes into that line, that
Just
I
think
am.
it, I am
So
it.
that means Jesus Christ is also I am. So when he said, I am the way to God, I am the truth to go to anything, then I am the life that you have to live. So Jesus is not saying Jesus as a name, but the essence of what he lives for. That is what it is. Bookie, for everybody that has stumbled on the truth, whether they like it or not, they've stumbled on Christ. For
Mm,
everybody that has stumbled on the way, they've stumbled on Christ. For everybody that has stumbled on the life, they've stumbled on Christ.
mm.
And I'm not saying this from the place of whether the person is rich or poor or anything, but I'm saying if you have found the truth, you will discover that you have found Christ.
Whether you wear the label or not.
Or not, you have found Christ. Now, the religion part of it was never a Jesus idea.
It
Jesus
was,
never came to give us, Jesus never came to give us a religion. He came to give us a relationship.
yeah.
The religion, you know what we do in organized church is not a bad thing, which is why I just laugh when a lot of people come out and they condemn the church, they criticize the church, and they do all of that. I just laugh. They are
Mm,
just part of the people that are seeing a particular part,
mm.
not the full part, oh, and they start to say the church is this, the church is that. I can categorically tell you that the church has a major role to play in the equation.
Oh,
The
yes.
church has a major role. Let's stop
Mm,
deceiving ourselves. The church has a major role to play in that equation. Yes, I'm not saying that every church is getting it right. In fact, a lot of churches are not getting it right, and a whole lot of churches too are getting it right. For every man that stumble on the truth, whether they like it or not, we as Christians should understand that they have found Christ. That is why when some things happen, especially let me use science and faith. When some things happen in science and we try to say it's science, so it's not God, I laugh. That means you don't even know who God is. Science cannot create anything by itself. Everything science have discovered, they are the things that were created in Genesis 1. If you read Genesis 1 using message
mhm.
version, it said things that are seen and things that are unseen.
I'm
That
saying,
is to say, energy and all of those things. And that will even help you to understand your faith, that your faith comes with evidence. Your faith is not magic. Miracle is not magic. Miracle actually comes with evidence. If Jesus wanted us to doubt, Jesus would have turned stone to bread, so that every time that we want to eat, we just bring stone. You understand what I'm saying? So until we start to look at all some of these truths, and we understand the fact that every time a man stumble on the truth, whether he likes it or not, he has actually stumbled on Jesus. He
mm,
might not recognize the name Jesus, but
mm,
trust me, the truth that he has stumbled on is Jesus. So
mm,
whether you are a Muslim or you are a Christian here, it is faster if you have stumbled on the name of Jesus, because that name itself actually carries loads of power. That name carries loads of power. That is why we
mm,
pray in the name of Jesus. But if you have found truth, if you want to really see the true essence to life, that is where I tell people that if you seek the man Jesus, and you seek the truth Jesus, you seek the way Jesus, you seek the life Jesus, you will discover that I don't think there's any man alive that doesn't have that Jesus
mm,
factor inside, even if you're an atheist. Even if you are an atheist, because the breath of God is inside you. And Jesus said, I and my Father are what? One.
One.
That is to say the breath of Jesus is inside the man. So whether
Yeah.
you agree or you don't agree, you understand. Like
It's
Nathaniel Bassey said,
irrelevant.
there is no place for argument. You are God all by yourself, so it is
Yes.
sorted.
Yes.
So we should stop. The religion should not help us to stop to see God in the form of man. You understand? The religion should not help us, should not make us to stop to. In fact, when
So,
you start to see God more like this, you'll be more empathetic. You'll be able to even teach people about God that, okay, I understand, like Paul did. Oh, I understand what you are saying. Yes, this thing is also God. But you know, that is when you start to now explain and they now start to see some of those things. And by the way, you and I, Bouquet, we carry a mantle that a whole lot of us are scared to actually share. Bouquet, people, we call ourselves the light and we stay back in the light.
we should go into
I've
the
had
dark,
this,
man. You know that, bro. But you know that
it's
dark place
physics.
ain't funny.
I know, Bouquet, but that is where you find relevance. Your light, inside light, is what is causing
It's
the
not gonna
blindness.
shine.
It's even causing blindness. It's simple physics. Look at your bulb.
I can't even look at all these lights in my own
You
house right
understand? You will
now.
go. That is what happens when light is saturated in a place. Same thing with us calling ourselves the salt, which is supposed to preserve the earth, but the salt stayed in one place. And when the soup is too salted, kilo man shele,
Oh my
it
God.
will be too much. You
Oh
understand?
my
And those
God.
are the things. See, I know it is. I read through Matthew 10, I think, using message version, and I understood what Jesus was saying. So for people like us, that we are the light, we are the salt, we need to first even understand how to love humanity before we can say we want to go out there and give them what they deserve and what they want.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Perfectly said, man. You know, the last time we had a conversation, you gave me one Nigerian adage, one Yoruba adage,
Yeah.
and it's stuck in my head. Let me see if I can remember. Give me the beginning.
Uh, Remind me, so many of them.
Tí ẹ sọ fún the
Okay,
thing
yeah, I remember
about
now. I
the
remember.
dress of today was a rag
Yeah, yeah.
before.
Ẹ
Yeah.
sọ fún aláṣẹ òde òní. Ẹ sọ
Aláṣẹ
fún
òde òní
aláṣẹ
pé
òde òní. Àkísà àti lògbàrí.
that yes, Akisa àti Lùgbàrí. Yeah, I want you
And
to
what
speak.
that simply
What?
that what that
5 minutes.
no, what that simply means is they should tell the clothes in vogue that the rag that he sees there was once in vogue. And that should humble in fact, not just humble you, should make you to have to be meek for everybody that is either trending now or that is going to trend later. That look, you need to bring yourself down because somebody was there before you and another person will be there after you. So
After
you should
this.
stay humble and just be good.
Please, can somebody type it? Ẹ sọ fún aláṣọ òde òní
It's
pé
actually in a song that myself and Nice are releasing.
you are nice
We
at
did a
too well.
song.
You're always doing all the good songs. It's not fair. Come and do.
Uh,
I'll come out of retirement and do one album if you do it.
you cannot retire. You are just joking. All this retirement. Me too. I thought I was going to retire, but they brought me out of it. So you can't retire.
Wow.
You can't
So
retire.
I want you to say something to an aspiring artist and
Okay.
how they need to put in the work, or whatever it is when you okay, for instance, you're a hit maker. Oh my gosh, you're a hit
Yeah.
maker. You recognize talent. I know a lot of people have rolled through your studio. How do you know
Yeah.
which one is the one with the it factor? Because I'm sure you've done songs for a lot of people, and if they
That
refuse to
never.
blow, they
Yeah.
refuse to blow. Yeah. And then some don't
Bookie.
even do anything with it. But how do
Bookie.
you know those ones? Do you have like a premonition that, oh boy, because I remember when you called me to come to Akoka
Nice.
to come and see
Nice.
Nice. You said,
I
Bookie,
remember. Yeah.
good go. And I said, okay. And then I drove all the way to
Yeah.
Akoka. And he was busy doing something
Yeah.
else or something like that. And you introduced me to him. How do you
Yeah.
tell with that it factor?
Bookie, number one thing is going to sound very religious. And unfortunately, I have to say it the way it is. I started with the Holy Spirit, and I'm still going to say one. There is a way the Holy Spirit will let you. If you read, I think First Corinthians 2, where he was,
You should become a
where
pastor.
then you understand First Corinthians 2:10, where it was saying that it is only the Holy Spirit that knows the heart of God.
The heart of a
The,
man and reveals, yeah.
you understand? In fact, he said the Holy Spirit knows the heart of God himself. There are things
Mm,
that God is not conscious of that the Holy Spirit is aware. I
mm,
discovered that a long time ago, and I try as much as possible to rely more on the Holy Spirit to help me
mm.
to know which one is which. Now, that doesn't mean that for every man that I see, I'll just be looking at you with the eyes of the Holy Spirit. You're on. But what I do is like I work like a fisherman. I let every fish into my net, and I'll start to remove the crap, remove the one that I don't want. So I zero on to basic principles that I keep, which was my major attraction to you then too. One, you must have depth lyrically. The stories, I must see you as a storyteller. I must see you as somebody that has depth in terms of use of words. Because a man or woman that has depth has a long way to go, unlike a one-hit wonder and all of that. Like most of the guys I worked with, you definitely know that they are not a one-hit wonder kind of people.
Mm,
They will still be there even when their time, you understand? So I
mm,
look out for that depth. Then I also look out for teachability. That
mm.
can this person, is this person teachable? Can this person learn? Because you cannot evolve if you are not the type that knows how to learn. Your evolution depends a lot on, in fact, it is your learning that will never make you to be old school.
Mm.
Because you keep learning
Yeah.
the new thing in vogue and you are still using your, your, what is it called? Your values and all of those things. Still put those
Knowledge
things.
from
So,
experience, yeah.
yeah, a lot of young guys, if you are hearing me and you are listening to me, I think you should create an habit to always be learning. Then
Mm.
another thing that I look for, like, this is what most people don't look out for. I look out for the person. Take our time to look into the person and make sure that yes, I'm dealing with the right person too. So
Mm.
those are some of those things.
Have you ever had any experience of someone that let you down, that you invested so much time and energy and they let you down?
Well, I had several, but I won't mention.
Don't mention their names. Don't mention their
Yeah,
names. Where's that
I
song
had.
with you and Asha now? Remember you were doing a song that I called Asha in the
Yes, now.
studio?
Yes, now. But she
Did
didn't
you give
come
it to
down now.
someone else?
Don't worry, no, it's still there, it's still there. And you guys can still do stuff for. Yeah, Nash, I think
Well,
you should call her up. Stop,
okay.
Bouqui'S. I'm saying this,
29
you can't
seconds.
retire, sir.
Eh?
You cannot retire.
Okay, I can't retire. Cabasa, I wish we
Yeah.
had more time. I wish we had more time to talk because I really
We
want
will
the
do this.
artist to
We will
get.
do this some other time. We will do it
Okay,
some
all
other
right.
time.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
always
Thank you
there.
so,
Thank
so
you,
much.
Bouqui'S.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you, your wealth, your wisdom, your knowledge. God bless you so
Thanks,
much.
Bouqui'S.
All
Yeah,
right, see
thank
you
you.
guys tomorrow.